designing for a low power product, whether you're designing for an application that needs real-time response or where low latency is vital, or for secure access. And then there's short-range and long-range connectivity technologies. So let's ask our panel for their insights on some of the decision-making needed, use cases and trends of what they think is really hot right now. I'll start with Boon at Samsung. So you recently announced the world's first ultra-wideband enabled Android phone. What's Samsung's long-term vision for ultra-wideband, and can you share some thoughts on how ultra-wideband complements other wireless radio technologies in the phone?
Thank you, Nitin. We believe UWB has immense potential because of its ability to provide spatial awareness and directional sensing capabilities for smart devices. Of course, there are quite a number of wireless connectivity technologies on the phone because they complement each other based on the applications and use cases. The technology can be particularly suited for certain functions, but it's also very common now for multiple technologies working in conjunction to bring the best user experience. For example, in the application of localizing another device, Bluetooth is suitable for supporting always-on device discovery due to its low power consumption. But after the discovery, UWB's spatial sensing with more accurate ranging and directional finding can kick in. On the other hand, Wi-Fi and 5G will continue to support high throughput applications. With regards to our long-term vision, enabling UWB for device-to-device applications like what we have introduced for nearby share and SmartThings is fine. They are only the beginning. So we expect to see more and more use cases and applications that we could only imagine in the past actually becoming realities with UWB. To name a few examples, hands-free secure access with digital key on the phone for smart homes and smart buildings will soon be possible. Location-based services that were not possible before can now be expected with UWB-enabled centimeter-level localization. To realize this vision, it would be important to foster a robust open ecosystem so that all stakeholders can come together to develop new use cases and build a strong interoperability certification program. Wi-Fi has the Wi-Fi Alliance. Bluetooth has the Bluetooth SIG. We envision the PIRA consortium to play the same important role for UWB. So we are very excited to work with NXP, HID, and other companies in the PIRA consortium to help realize the UWB vision together.
Sounds good, the focus on UWB. Thank you, Boon. We'll turn to Ramesh at HID. What technologies are you most excited by, and how do you see these working together to make access control easy?
With a broad portfolio of products and solutions we have in HID, through which we power trusted identities of us, people, places, and things, there are many new technologies that we are quite excited about. As you might know, many of our products are packed with multiple RF technologies such as NFC, BLE, and Wi-Fi to address various needs of our customers and provide a better user experience. If I have to pick one particular RF technology that we are most interested in, and also is of more relevant for this particular forum, I would pick ultra-wideband UWB. As Boon said, UWB enables higher level of accuracy in positioning capabilities along with increased data security compared to other RF technologies. UWB also is more immune to RF interference, so it functions better in high traffic settings. These capabilities, we believe, will enable a much better seamless user experience in providing hands-free access control in your workplace, hospitals, schools and universities, hotels, home. Because of its fine-ranging capability, we believe it will enable many new location-based services and device-to-device IoT applications, both in consumer products and in industrial setup. As Alloy and HID Global are leaders in secure access and identity solutions, we are quite excited about the potential of UWB technology in managing access to physical and digital places, things, and identities.
So thank you. Now let's turn to Sanjay at Google. What technologies do you see enabling the smart home and why? And how do you recommend getting these technologies to work better together, independent of the protocol or brand?
Thank you for that. It's interesting. People talk about the smart home, and rather than smart, because we're not really quite sure what that is, we prefer to think about our mission in terms of how can we help our end users. How can the home actually be helpful to them, right? How can we make them more productive? How can they have the experiences that they desire? And how can they have peace of mind so they know that the things that matter to them are actually on track and they're aware of them, right? So what we're trying to do is we're trying to deliver a strong portfolio of devices and services towards these goals of creating a helpful home. And to do that, we want to get technologies to work better together. Of course, we have to address the fundamentals, right? You must start with a whole home, robust Wi-Fi network, and that's realizable through a really dead simple mesh system these days. You want to make sure that that's the fundamentals. But then you have to look at low power technologies like 15.4, BLE, because this awareness comes from sensors and other battery operated devices where power consumption is so critical. We know that you can't deliver that through Wi-Fi, and we have to do that through 15.4 or BLE and such, right? Now, once we tie all these things together, the experiences, however, are delivered by the software that tie all of these technologies. And our point of view is if we do our jobs right, the users, in fact, should not even have to think about what the technology is. But they should just be really delighted by how easy it was to set up, how convenient it was to interact with the home and get the information that they need. And this information should be delivered exactly when it needs to be and where it needs to be, right? So what we do at Google is we start with the user journeys, as we call them, which is what is it that users are trying to do? What is it that they're trying to understand about their home, and what can their home do for them? And then we develop the architectures, the layers, and the technologies, which we work with our partners, such as NXP, to pull these things together. When we see that a technology doesn't quite exist yet, we try to invent it or we try to adopt it. We've heard some examples of that here today. And we can see evidence of this through our ecosystem of partners and our helpful interactions that we deliver to our end users through various modalities of interaction, depending on
quite impossible.
the context. So, for example, if you're looking for a voice-driven hands-free interaction, and just because I have so many assistant devices in my home, I will say, "Okay, G, turn on the backyard lights." That's something that I'm able to do very easily every day without stepping outside. Right? We have displays which can serve as a touch control hub and point for your home, so you can centrally have entertainment delivered, control your lighting, control your media, and such. And then, finally, the Google Home app, because all of us have these really nice mobile phones that allows you to have mobile interactions with your home as well, so you can get the information and do the control that you're trying to do. So that's the way we see all these technologies coming together to deliver the use cases and the helpfulness to end users.
Wow. Okay, that's really great. Now, Rafael, as a core technology provider of so many wireless protocols, what does NXP see as the biggest challenge and opportunity for the industry? And what do you feel is needed to overcome some of these challenges?
I just finished reading a book that the name was called "Obstacle is the Way." So I'm going to answer the question in a similar fashion. The challenge is the opportunity, and we talked about it. Sanjay alluded to it in multiple ways. But more and more devices are getting smarter, and they're getting connected. Today's home is not surprising to see 20 or more connected devices, and we know that this number will grow exponentially in the next few years. And by the way, today I'm not talking about the demand uptake that we have because of COVID, right, on laptops and tablets and voice assistants and over-the-top services. I'm talking about more and more about devices that just even a few years ago we never thought of them being potential targets for connectivity. So you're talking about door locks, lights, kitchen appliances, smoke detectors. And if you go into industrial, the list is even longer. Each of these segments have different requirements, different cost points, form factors. There's not necessarily a one-size-fits-all in terms of technology, like you alluded with the question. And there's unlikely to be a winner-takes-all scenario, right? In these markets, it is a fragmented market, and very likely will remain fragmented. And so, if you look at the wide funnel of technical and time-to-market needs, in order to seize the opportunity, right, and meet the challenge, a technology vendor like ourselves and NXP, we must offer a comprehensive portfolio of connectivity technology options, right? Going for our customers to one company for Bluetooth and another for 802.15.4 and maybe one for Wi-Fi, it's just simply not practical, not effective, not costly. We must simplify software. Software is key. These are open ecosystems, right? This is where companies' products must interact with one another. And so minimizing the software burden through really good SDKs, reference applications, pre-integration is fundamental. Same goes for simplifying hardware complexity. There is, like you alluded, multiple type of technologies, support multiple antennas, different power profiles, different PCB footprint requirements. We're going to have to deliver coexistence techniques that allow various technologies to operate seamlessly, reliably, predictably. And then let's remember that some of these companies are not big. The companies addressing IoT and industrial, right? So we must offer support flexibility. We must offer technology accessibility. So it helps a great deal to be able to rely on technology suppliers like NXP that are able to address these challenges with end-to-end solutions.
Yeah, I think that's quite important as well, actually, providing some kind of reference for some of those small companies. Thank you, Rafael. Now I'm going to put a round table question to all of you. What do you see? What do you each see as the hottest trend in connectivity, and what's the most significant challenge associated with developing solutions to enable it? Ramesh, let's start with you.
Sure. I would say one of the key factors for successful adoption of any new technology is really enabling delightful user experience, and that is particularly true in UWB as well. In my view, creating interoperability and a robust ecosystem are key for adoption of technologies like UWB. Without interoperability, we cannot achieve consistent user experience, as we explained. Creating a seamless hands-free access control, whether you are getting to your work or going to a hospital or or checking in a hotel or coming back to your home or opening the car, right? So in all these different use cases, user would expect a consistent, seamless user experience, and that's only possible if we can ensure interoperability between various devices, and we can only scale if it works interoperably from the products and technologies from different companies. That's why we have set up FIRA Consortium with the help of industry leaders and technology providers to really promote UWP and also, more importantly, ensure interoperability by defining certain common specifications. So that, I think, is one of the biggest challenge as well as opportunity for enabling technologies like UWP.
Okay, so I think what you're saying is really user experience is important, that we need interoperability in the ecosystem.
That's right.
Yeah. Thank you. Nabu, in your view, what do you see as the hottest trend in connectivity, and what's the most significant challenges associated with developing solutions to enable it?
Yeah, I guess my view would be quite similar to what Ramesh has just mentioned. As more smart devices of different kinds are introduced in the market, there's a need for these different smart devices to be talking to each other. Interconnected smart devices can greatly improve human device or machine interaction, making it easier, more intuitive, less obtrusive for human to interact with devices or to perform certain tasks. For example, UWP digital key solution on the phone means that it's more convenient for one to unlock his or her car with just the phone. Simply pointing your phone to another smart device could activate it or perform a pre-programmed function. If the smart devices have sensing capability, interconnecting them would enable better understanding of the context before triggering an action or response. So the technology will continue to become better over time. The most significant challenge is actually to keep building and maintaining a strong open ecosystem that various companies and developers can collaborate to build use cases and ensure interoperability. So this is why Samsung is very committed to industry alliances like the FIRA Consortium for UWP. Thank you.
Right. So actually, I'm seeing a common thread here, and that's really collaborative interoperability ecosystem. Let's. I mean, maybe we can hear something similar from Sanjay. Let's see. Sanjay, what do you see as the hottest trend in connectivity, and what's the most significant challenge associated with developing solutions to enable?
Yeah, thanks. We continue to see this concept of the helpful home as one of the hottest trends in the industry. There's certainly a lot of protocol fragmentation, which is a key challenge for us it's affecting all of us actually in our collective ability to deliver on this mission. There's not a lot of growth in this industry. There are currently many competing yet lightly differentiated smart home protocols, which is resulting in a negative impact to our partners and to end users. For example, manufacturers and partners incur increased costs because they must support multiple lightly differentiated software protocols, and the SKUs are not interoperable, right? So, for example, a sensor from one company can't interoperate with the sensor of another company because of this protocol fragmentation. So this ends up impacting end consumers who are quite uncertain about compatibility, and it results in very frustrating purchases and a very frustrating setup experiences, which is also fragmented, right? So all of this has actually reduced the rate of adoption and growth in this critical space versus allowing it to reach its full potential. So what we are seeing is Project Connected Home over IP, also called Project CHIP, is a key initiative in addressing this pain point. By working with hundreds of world-leading organizations and thousands of individual experts in various areas, such as even in the Zigbee Alliance, who have expertise in IoT, privacy, security, and more. We can leverage all of our collective learnings and we can contribute technologies and develop a unified protocol to address this issue very quickly.
I'd like, I'd like to ask an additional question, which is not on the script here, so if that's okay.
Sure.
Okay, so Sanjay, you talked about sort of that whole interoperability. How can you actually? I mean, everybody is saying about ecosystem and alliances and cooperation.
Right.
Do you see a lot of movement in, for example, in chip? Where do we see the first products that you can say plug one to another and it'll work? When do we see that happening?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's coming together, right? It's a big initiative spanning many companies across the ecosystem. So by ecosystem, we mean semiconductor vendors developing really great solutions on the chip side as well. I mean, the lowercase chip side, the actual silicon side, the protocols, and then of course the industry players, right? Like the Samsungs of the world, the Googles, the Amazons, the Apples, just coming together and making sure that we're doing this thing collectively in the right way for our users to simplify the user journey, right from thought to procurement to setup to daily interactions and value, right? And so I think that this spec is coming together very nicely. The teams are collaborating, and we can expect to see significant movement in 21 in this space. That's my belief.
Okay, thank you. And Raphael, what do you see as the hottest trend in connectivity, and what's the most significant challenge associated with developing solutions to enable?
Yeah, so let me talk about it. What an incredible time to be in this industry and to be a consumer. To be honest with you, is we see in the intersection of incredible compute power at very accessible cost, the advent of AI, and then the intersection of great connectivity coming. So it's going to be some really interesting next 5 years where incredible products are going to come in. And so when you talk about trends and hottest trends in connectivity, let me give you three that I think they are going to drive a lot of very interesting user experiences. One is we talk about the exponential growth of connected nodes, right? Whether sensors, new devices that never had connectivity, now they have it. All this, I guess, nodes being connected to the network will require more efficient Wi-Fi networks. And that in itself will drive Wi-Fi 6 adoption. I think the Wi-Fi 6 adoption is going to be driven because it has a dramatically better high density performance and capacity, and it's just a better network. And the notion that the Wi-Fi 6 is only for big stadiums and public venues and only for high performance, high throughput devices, I think that notion will change. What it means is that we'll see a myriad of Wi-Fi 6 solutions that emphasize different attributes, whether it's low power or cost, or some of them will continue to push performance.
Iya Pak. Netanyahi aqui. Dá para negócio acontecer. No programa. Claro. Finally starting to get the plan. This one is first one. At 9 on hand, I think. Bangladesh. Digital Bangladesh.
Um, Many new technologies that we are quite excited about. As you might know, many of our products are packed with multiple RF technologies such as NFC, new and completely richer user experiences.
Thank you, Rafael. Well, that brings us to the end of today's panel, but not to the end of this great connectivity conversation. And what I think picking up from this is, yes, there's complexity of lots of different wireless protocols, but shouldn't really think about it in terms of that sort of particular technology or on that particular smartness. You need to look at the whole sort of environment, the user experience, and then figure out how that maps in, and then look at sort of interoperability between different sort of devices as well as systems as well as people, and then figure out how the ecosystem can collaborate to do that, if that's a fair assessment. That said, I'd like to thank all our panelists for their time and insight today. And for our audience, I would encourage you to take a few minutes to complete the following survey and to submit any questions you have for our guests. We will respond by email to each. Oh, I also believe Rafael will be virtually available this week should you wish to speak or meet with him. Thank you all and hope you enjoy the rest of NXP Connects.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
মাথা নিচের দিকে দাও মুখটা মিশে ভালো দাও চোখ বন্ধ করে রাখো মুখে করো দাও চোখ বন্ধ করে চোখ মুছতে হবে হয়েছে